Welcome to Section 2 of the IDEA Workbook, Accounts Receivable Audit. We will cover the risks associated with accounts receivable that can be addressed by computer-assisted audit procedures and the tests that can help address those risks. Key risks will include 1. The file being incorrectly consolidated or summed. 2. Foreign currency transactions not translated correctly. 3. Credit is granted to customers that are likely to default. 4. Customers are doubled. 5. Accounts receivable are invalid or incorrectly stated. 6. Improper allocation of credits and payments. 7. Accounts receivable not properly aged. 8. A significant percentage of the receivables concentrated in a few customers. 9. Improper classification of amounts. Potential tests we will be using are suggested for the audit on page 23 of the IDEA version 10 workbook. Tests will include mechanical accuracy and valuation, analysis, exception testing for existence, valuation, gaps and duplicates, matching, and comparison tests and sampling. As part of the year-end audit of Bright Ideas Incorporated, the manager has decided to use IDEA on the accounts receivable to improve the quality of the audit, improve efficiency, and provide value-added services. The two files we need are the accounts receivable database containing data at March 31st, 2015, and the customer master file. Formatting for the data is explained on page 25 and 26. The audit program is explained on page 27, and we will begin on page 28. First, begin by opening IDEA. The Select Project screen will appear first. We're going to go ahead and close that to begin to create a new project. We're going to open the folder where all of our IDEA files will be stored in Documents, My IDEA Documents, IDEA Projects. We'll begin under the Home tab by selecting Create. We'll create a Manage Project and enter Accounts Receivable Audit as the project name. Once you click on OK, IDEA will create a new folder called My IDEA Documents, IDEA Projects, Accounts Receivable Audit. All your files will be stored here. From the Home tab in the Projects group, click Properties to change the project properties. In the Project Properties dialog, enter the following information. Report name, Accounts Receivable Audit, report period, January 1st, 2015 through March 31st, 2015. Then click on OK to accept the changes. Next, we'll load the data that came with the workbook. We'll begin by opening the data files up. Selecting them, and then copying them. We're going to place these inside the folder we just created. IDEA will automatically revert to that folder to find any source files. Select Desktop from the Home tab, and the Import Assistant dialog box appears. Select Microsoft Access from the list of available formats, and then click the Browse button to navigate and select your files. Select Open, and then Next. The Microsoft Access dialog box appears. We'll make sure the Scan for Records for Field Length option is selected. In the Output File Name field, enter Accounts Receivable. When you click OK, the database is imported, opened, and selected as the active database. When the database is created, the table name will be added as a suffix to the output file name. We'll close the database, right-click it in the File Explorer, and select Rename, and delete the ACC_rec 2015 from the database name. Press enter, and the new database name is displayed. We'll double click and reopen the database. Make sure it's maximized. And to ensure that it was imported correctly, select Control Total from the Properties menu. We'll select Gross Amount as the field, and click OK. If asked to calculate, select Yes. The correct amount is displayed under the Control Total under the Properties menu. Next, we'll verify the correct data was supplied and imported correctly by using the field statistics. You'll see the blue fields are drill downs. You can select on them to open any records located within. In the field type box, click Date. Study the statistics. Note in particular the earliest date and the latest date statistics. We'll select Data and return to the main window. Next, we'll begin our analysis by selecting the Analysis tab. In the Extract group, click Direct. We'll change the file name provided from Extraction 1 to ACC Rec March 31, 2015. To enter the equation, click the Equation Editor button. The editor window will appear, and then enter the required equation as follows. We'll double-click the field name paid flag to insert it. Select the Not Equal To button. Click the quotes and insert the quotes. Type the letter P. We'll move the cursor outside to the right of the quotes. Click the And button. Double-click the field name date_date. We'll click the less than button. And then we will go to the calendar and select the date of April 1st, 2015 from the calendar. Once the equation has been entered, we'll check it and then validate and exit. Click OK to run that extraction. Note the control total for the gross amount field as displayed in the Properties window now reconciles to the total provided. We'll select the field statistics, click OK. Notice the net value totals for GST and PST also reconcile to the totals provided. Select the date field and note the earliest date and the latest date. ACC March 31st, 2015 is now displayed as a child of the parent database. We'll view the history by clicking History in the Properties menu, and we'll open each node. The idea script code that can be used for rerunning the audit at a later date is included in the history log. Next, we'll add a comment. Click the Add Comment link in the Comments area of the Properties window, and enter the following comment. Database reconciliation. Database reconciles to totals provided by client. We'll click the link column and then the ellipse button to select the correct database to reconcile to. Click OK, then close the Database Comments dialog box. We'll return to the database by clicking the Data link in the Properties window. So next, we'll do some random record sampling to choose a sample of items for confirmation to determine any other testing to prove validity. We'll ensure that the correct database is selected. Select Sample, Random. The Random Sampling Record dialog box appears. We'll enter the data as noted on page 49 of the IDEA workbook. We'll put the correct random number seed in as well and select 20 as the number of records. We'll leave Allow Duplicate Records option unselected in order to prevent IDEA from selecting the same record more than once. In the file name box, enter sample of ACC rec transactions. Then click OK to run the sample extraction. The resultant database adds an additional field SAM_rec_no added to the database as the rightmost column. This gives you a number of what record each individual record came from. We'll click the File tab and then click Close Database to close the sample of ACC rec transactions. Next, we'll produce an age analysis of outstanding voices at year-end. So ensure ACC Rec March 31, 2015 is the active database. In the Categorize group, click Aging. Use the Aging control in the calendar, accessed by clicking on the Calendar button, to change the date in the Aging box to 2015, April 1st. Do not specify criteria for the test. In the Aging Field to Use box, accept the date_date field. In the Amount field to total on, accept gross_amount as the amount field to total for each interval. And in the Aging Interval box, accept days. Change the Aging Interval days to 31, 59, 91, and 121. Only 4 intervals are required, therefore enter 0 for the 5th interval. The 6th will also be excluded from the analysis. Do not select Generate Detailed Aging Database option, and do not select Generate Key Summary Database option. Enter Age Analysis Report as the name for the results output. Then click OK to generate the results output. The Aging Analysis Report is displayed in the new Results Output view of the database window. Note the new link in the results area of the Properties window. Next, we'll click on the View the Result Graph button on the Aging Results toolbar. Right-click the chart and click Properties. From the General tab, select the 3D option to change the graph from 2-dimensional to 3-dimensional and click OK. We'll also right-click the chart and click Edit Title. We'll enter the title Aging at April 1st, 2015. Use the y-axis list box at the top of the graph to change the y-axis to net value. Then we'll return to the database by clicking on the data link in the Properties window. Next, we'll identify high-value items and old items by selecting Direct, so ensuring that ACC Rec March 31st, 2015 is selected, we selected Direct, and then we'll change the default file name to high-value amounts and select on the equation editor. We'll enter the expression gross underscore amount is greater than 10,000. Once the equation is entered, check the syntax and close the equation editor by clicking the Validate and Exit button. We'll click the second row of the Direct Extraction dialog box and change the name to Old Invoices. We'll click the Equation Editor button again. Then we'll enter date underscore date is less than or equal to 2014-12/31 in quotes, using the calendar button to select the date. Once the equation has been entered, check the syntax and close the equation editor window by clicking the Validate and Exit button. Next, we'll click OK to run the extractions. Two new databases will be created in the File Explorer window. High value amounts will be the active database. In the high value amounts, there will be 10 records totaling $139,479.86. We'll go ahead and close all databases. Next, we'll identify and review all credit notes. We'll make sure ACC Rec March 31, 2015 is the active database. We'll click Criteria in the Properties window and type the following equation: type equals C in quotes. Click Validate and Exit to check the syntax and exit the equation editor. We'll note that 34 of 253 records meet the criteria, and the control total for the database has changed. We'll right-click Criteria and select Clear to return to the database. Now we'll apply a new criteria: gross underscore amount is less than 0. Validate and exit. And there are 44 items, including 10 unallocated payments. We'll clear the criterion once again. So next, we'll prove the accuracy of the calculation of the net amount. Ensure that ACC Rec is the active database and that data is selected. From the Data tab, select Field Manipulation by selecting the button at the corner of the Define Action field. We'll click Append on the Field Manipulation dialog box and enter the following details: field name net, field type virtual numeric, field length do not enter, decimals 2, and then we will click the parameter box to load the equation editor and enter the equation gross underscore amount minus GST plus PST with brackets around GST and PST. Once the equation has been entered, check the syntax by clicking the Validate and Exit button. So we'll click OK and select Yes to append the field to the database. You can scroll right and review the resultant field that was added as the rightmost field of the database. If you place the cursor over it, it'll show you that it is a virtual field and note the equation in the tooltip that is displayed. We'll return to the data property afterwards. You can see that it was added as an append field within the history also. Next, we'll analyze the balances and taxes by account by selecting Analysis in the Categorized group. Click Summarization. Enter the following fields to summarize: account number, numeric fields to total, gross underscore amount, GST, PST, net. We'll click on the Fields button and note that no fields are selected. Select Quick Summarization option. Accept the Create Database option. And in the file name, we'll enter Balances by Customer. Upon clicking OK and reviewing the database, we'll note the following fields: account number, number of records, gross amount sum, GST sum, PST sum, and net sum. In addition to providing the totals for the selected numeric fields, the Balances by Customer database shows 51 customers with balances. So in order to identify the top 10 debtors, we'll sequence the records in descending value by creating an index. You can double-click the field name Gross Amount Sum, and it will index it in ascending order, and double-click it again to index in descending order. The largest balance is $45,736 for account W025 with 11 transactions. Select File tab and click Close All Databases. Next, we'll check debtors against authorized credit risk. So we'll be testing all transactions such as invoices, credit notes, and payments are recorded for valid customers. We'll identify where credit limits have been exceeded for any customer. So we're going to import a print report file. Go ahead and select the desktop from the Home tab. Select Print Report, select the Browse button, and we will choose our customer master file, and then select Open. Click Next. Maximize the report window. And we'll define our base layer by identifying the lines with the lowest level of detailed information, highlighting them by clicking and dragging. We will create a standard layer and click Yes. And we'll place the cursor in the anchor editor area above the account number, and we'll click the text trap once and the numeric trap 3 times. Scroll through and make sure all the information is highlighted. Everything seems to be correct all the way down. Next, we'll highlight the account number information. We'll go over to the field information field, and we'll give it a name, account number. Leave the type as character, offset, and the actual width are correct. Next, we'll highlight the customer name information, leaving enough room for larger data. Go back over to the name field information area and type customer underscore name. Leave it as a character type, and we will change the actual width to fit the data in the workbook on page 75. Next, we'll highlight the address information, leave enough room. Title it address. Character, offset 57, actual width 33. So we'll increase that by clicking the arrow. In the multi-line area, we will select yes to capture the rest of the address information. And then next we will highlight the credit limit information. So in the details, we'll enter credit underscore lim. Make sure the type is numeric. The offset will be 95 and the actual width will be 7. So if you get an error such as this, click OK. You can actually click and drag to adjust. So we'll go ahead and save the layer. And you can highlight over any of the icons to see exactly what they are. The information will be displayed. You can preview the database by selecting the small icon and being able to check what will be imported. We'll also scan for any errors. So when you go to import, we'll check that you're ready and ensure that you save the template file in order to continue. Go ahead and title it Customer Master, save it as a JPM file. We'll generate the field statistics on that. And click Finish. At that point, that's how you import a PDF file into IDEA for analysis. From there, we will leave you to join the balances, identify any unmatched items, and complete the rest of the accounts receivable audit. Thank you very much, and we'll see you at Section 3.